Hello everybody, welcome to ScottyDGaming. I'm Scotty D, and today is just going to be a quick video to show you my recording settings for recording my PC gameplay. Now previously I never had a PC that was capable of recording PC games. Well, I never had a PC capable of playing PC games, never mind playing them and recording them. I always used to record from my PS4 via my Ava media capture device via OBS, and that would give me my recordings. But since I've just got myself a PC, which I'll put the specification of my PC in the description so you can gauge whether or not these settings, you'll be able to run these settings smoothly. But basically all it is it's got a i7-7700 HQ processor, an NVIDIA 1050 Ti graphics card, and 8GB of RAM. So it's nothing spectacular, it's middle of the road, entry level gaming basically. Right, now these settings that I'm going to show you will fit three main criteria, which are my criteria. I want to record at 1080p in good quality, and the file sizes for a 40-minute video need to be under 2GB. Now most of my recordings with these settings come in at around about 1.5 gig, but at least I've got a little bit of play depending on how much motion's in the game capture, because more motion, more frames means more bitrate. You understand? Also, sorry, these recordings are going to be in 30 frames per second. I only ever record in 30 frames per second because that's all I really feel I need. I know people like 60, but maybe in the future if I get some better hardware, but I like 30 for the minute. So we're going to jump straight into the settings. File, settings. General, you can do whatever you want here. We're not interested in that at the moment. Stream, we're not streaming. This is only for local recordings, for if you want to upload videos to YouTube, etc. So we're going to jump to the output tab. Again, streaming, not interested. Going to go straight to recording. Now you will notice some items here are grayed out. Why the hell did that guy have a funny shape there? Is there a particular reason why this is fucking... Wait, I can't explain that, lads. Did you see a jump to like a smaller thing? Fuck off. File, settings. There we go. Output. Right, that was a technical hiccup. I don't know why the window shrank and I couldn't adjust it, but we're back in. Anyway, so output, recording. As I was saying, my settings are grayed out because I'm recording this video at the moment. For you, it won't be. So your recording path, wherever you want your videos to go, it's pretty standard. Recording format needs to be an MP4, an audio track. You can just record on one audio track with all the audio combined. However, I would highly not recommend that. I'd recommend recording in at least 3 audio tracks. So for example, audio track 1, all audio combined for when everything's running hunky-dory. Audio track 2, for example, just your microphone audio. And audio track 3, just for example, your gameplay audio or your PC audio, whatever you want to call it. Now the reason being is, if something goes wrong that you're not expecting, where you maybe experience some sync issues between audio and video, you got a better chance of fixing it, an easier chance of fixing it, if you recorded 2 separate audio tracks, because you can adjust them individually. So there we go. Now, encoder needs to be X264, and your rescale output, for me, I'm not rescaling any outputs. I'm playing at 1080p, I'm getting my file video recorded at 1080p as well, so I'll leave that unchecked. Now this at the bottom is the crux of the information, the crux of your encoder settings. Now for me, I have tried other settings, and I was actually using other settings for my my PS4 recordings, and then I temporarily used some other settings when I was recording my Morrowind gameplay. I think I was using an encoder, which was I forgot what it's actually called. But in this encoder settings, which I can't show you now because it's grayed out. Yeah, it is. It's like a fast encode, something like that. And then down here on the fast encode, I was using like a different fast encode settings, which supposedly used a lower CPU usage for great quality. That's all great in theory. I found that it did not work when recording on the PC while playing PC's games on the same PC. everything would work, the PC game would work great, but when you reviewed your video recordings, you'd get stutters, and I don't know what caused them stutters, but these settings don't. So encoder X264, jump down to here. Rate control needs to be variable bitrate, VBR, and the bitrate wants to be 40,000. Now you might be looking at that thinking 40,000 is a very high bitrate. Yeah, it is. I think it is. Some of my other recordings, my bitrate was, when I used to use constant bitrate, I was using constant bitrate of 8,000 on 720p. And it produced alright quality videos, nothing great, but at the time I was using a shit laptop. And those were the settings that worked on that. That would not have my laptop max out and break the recording. So where was I? Went on a tangent. Yep. So what this means is, the variable bitrate, the bitrate can change throughout the video. So let's say you're playing Morrowind or any Elder Scrolls game. If you're in the menu with a static image, the bitrate is going to be really, really low because it doesn't need to be high because there's nothing moving, there's nothing changing. That's going to save you file size. It's going to be not recording much information. However, if you do a fast-paced scene where you're jumping from buildings, things are exploding, gunplay and everything, the videos wants to use more bitrate to retain that great quality. So that's why my highest bitrate is going to be 40,000, but it can vary lower than that up to that cap. Now your CRF, couldn't tell you what it stands for, but basically what it does is, the lower that number, the more lossless information you get. So if you put that at 1 or 0, whatever you're viewing on the game, you're going to get that exact amount of information completely lossless in the recording, but that probably means your file size is going to be about 80 gigabytes for a 10-minute video. So there's got to be compromises unless you're running like a NASA computer. Now by default, I'm sure this is at about 24. Now that does provide good quality recordings. However, I've bumped it up to 28. The reason being is I've increased the bitrate and I've increased this. So the increase of bitrate means that your file sizes are going to be a little bit bigger. But I've also increased the CRF just here to kind of counteract that. And with this combination, in my opinion, I get excellent quality 1080p recordings of PC games. Now your CPU usage, like I've explained in previous videos, the faster this is, the less load on your CPU, and the slower this is, so for example down here, the more CPU intensive it is, but your quality is going to be better. Now there is a consensus online that there's no point in going any lower than very fast. The quality gains are negligible. However, if you go to super fast, which is a faster preset, you will notice quite a considerable loss in quality. So very fast seems to be the sweet spot, and I do agree from my testing. And everything else is pretty much the same. You don't need a profile, you don't need a tune, you don't need the variable frame rate box checked, because I run a constant frame rate, which is 30 frames per second. And again, not that I was going to show you in this video, but the audio tab, I told you I record 3 separate audio tracks. I prefer to record the audio bitrate in 192, 192 and 192. I don't use 4, 5 or 6 at the moment. Now quickly we'll go over the audio sample rate, just as an extra thing to this video that might benefit you in case you don't know. Always have this sample rate here, whether it be 44.1 kHz or 48 kHz, match up with what your laptop is inputting and outputting. For example, down here in my audio settings, for my playback devices, speaker and headphones, properties, make sure that's at 48 kHz, same as your recording software. And I've also got my microphone the same, which I'm not sure it's in the recording devices instead of playback, but it's the same number. And your desktop audio device is recording that. Mic device, I'm using a Blue Snowball mic, is recording that. And that's all we need to know. And finally, just might as well check these settings while we're here. Your video settings. My base canvas resolution is what my PC's outputting, which is 1080p. And my output scale resolution is exactly the same because that's what I want to record. If you do want to output at a lower quality, lower resolution, for example 720p, by all means do that. You just change whatever's in this box to whatever you want to record. And your downscale filter, I've always had great success with bicubic, and change your frames per second here, which as you can see I'm on 30. Now that's it. That's pretty standard. That's the basic settings that I class as now my default go-to one-size-fits-all settings. And the only time these settings won't fit my criteria of a 2GB file size for a 40-minute video will be if you're playing something really fast-paced, which I've only ever experienced with a racing game. For example, Dirt 4. My Dirt 4 recordings do come out at a lot higher than 2GB because of the constant, well, the nature of racing games. The scene's changing all the time. There's never ever going to be a static image. If you did want lower file sizes, you can either reduce the quality or keep the quality and just suffer with the large file sizes, which I probably will if I ever do any uploads on Dirt 4. So that's it. That's it for the video. That's the settings. I hope you find a use of them, and like I say, I will put my PC specification in the description so you can check it and see what your PC is, how similar it is, and if you can use these settings, because I can currently record with these settings in the background with OBS while playing games like Mass Effect Andromeda, Dirt 4, Dark Souls, all at 60 frames per second. If I want to, I know I record at 30 frames per second, but I actually play the games in 60 without any frame drops at all. Like it's pretty low on the CPU usage as long as you've got a reasonably good quality CPU. Right, so I hope that's all of the information that you need. I hope you find it useful, and I will see you in a bit, lads.